Hello. We at Los Angeles County Public Works are here to provide information on flood risks in the unincorporated areas of Acton and Agua Dulce. Los Angeles County Public Works is the floodplain manager for the unincorporated areas of Los Angeles County. There are 85 other cities in the county that have their own floodplain managers. This presentation focuses on flood risks in the Acton and Agua Dulce areas and how residents can manage their risk. These are the unincorporated Acton and Agua Dulce communities between the cities of Santa Clarita and Palmdale. Unincorporated areas are shown in yellow. The unincorporated Acton and Agua Dulce communities are also in the Los Angeles County Flood Control District. No area is free of risk, including Acton and Agua Dulce. It's a matter of knowing your risk and being prepared for it. Los Angeles County has a wide variety of geographical features. The county has multiple microclimates. The county has always had weather extremes, including Acton and Agua Dulce. The county is subject to a flood drought cycle. Rains result in vegetation sprouting. Dry seasons and droughts dry out the vegetation. Dry vegetation is susceptible to wildfires. And intense rainfall events on burned watersheds result in large debris flows. These effects are magnified due to climate change. The Acton and Agua Dulce areas are at the receiving end of flows from highly erosive mountains. Large storms can happen during the October through April fall-winter season and sometimes during summer thunderstorms. And storms can change the flow paths in the alluvial fan areas. The Acton and Agua Dulce communities are rural in nature. There are little in urban features and amenities, such as curb and gutters on streets and storm drains. Some neighborhoods consist of clusters of homes that may share a common flood risk. In other neighborhoods, homes are spaced far apart on large lots, so the flood risk to the home will often not extend much beyond the lot. Flood control structures are difficult to build in the Acton and Agua Dulce areas. For example, the Santa Clara River's shallow streambed restricts the grade of channels and drains outletting to the river, consequently limiting their flow-carrying capacity. Flood facilities often clash with the community's rural character and the restrictions on U.S. Forest Service-owned or Conservancy-owned lands above the communities. The number of homes in neighborhoods often does not accumulate sufficient flood risk reduction benefits to match the cost of flood facilities, which makes it difficult to get grant funding. Flooding occurs all over the country, so reducing flooding impacts is a concern of the federal government. Congress enacted the National Flood Insurance Program, or NFIP, primarily in response to the lack of availability of private flood insurance and continued increases in federal assistance after flood disasters. Los Angeles County joined the NFIP to allow residents access to NFIP flood insurance and federal flood disaster assistance. In the early 1980s, FEMA mapped flood zones in the Acton and Agua Dulce areas. The mapped FEMA flood zones in the Acton and Agua Dulce areas are Zones A, AE, and AO, which are riverine flood hazard areas. Zone X shaded, which is a 500-year flood area and not shown here because of the scale of the map. Zone X and Zone D. The A zones and X shaded zones are usually mapped in areas that have been occupied or can potentially be occupied. However, some major Angeles National Forest creeks and washes were mapped in A zones. A zones can carry federal flood insurance mandates for structures and are subject to more stringent development requirements. The mountains under the ownership of the Angeles National Forest are mapped primarily as Zone D, since they are sparsely populated, if populated at all, and unlikely to undergo development. The X zones and Zone D do not carry federal flood insurance mandates, but lenders on their own can require flood insurance to protect their investment. And flood insurance is required if the property has a Small Business Administration loan. All owners and renters in all flood zones can get flood insurance for their structures and contents through the NFIP. The county also has mapped floodways in Acton and Agua Dulce. Defining flood risk is a vital task under the National Flood Insurance Program. So, FEMA developed flood insurance rate maps. These maps will show the FEMA zones. The county also regulates development in floodplains using county floodway maps adopted by the Board of Supervisors. Sometimes the county will use floodway maps that the Board of Supervisors has not adopted if they provide the best available flood hazard information. County floodway maps are not used to identify a government mandate for flood insurance. If a property has both a FEMA flood zone and a county floodway mapped on it, the one that yields the strictest requirements rules for building projects. You can reach Public Works' flood zone determination website through the Water for LA County website's flood preparation webpage. Public Works' flood zone determination website can identify the FEMA flood zones and county floodways on every property in Los Angeles County. Just click on your property or enter your property's address. The flood zone website has links to the actual FEMA flood insurance rate maps and county floodway maps, and to elevation certificates associated with finished permitted construction in unincorporated areas, but they only go back to the mid-1990s, and elevation certificates done by homeowners themselves for insurance purposes are not included. The Flood Zone app is also mobile friendly. You can also get the FEMA flood zones for your property at FEMA's Map Service Center. We are here to assist. Please reach out to us if you have additional questions. We encourage you to look at these additional presentations, which provide useful information on preparing for, handling, and recovering from flood events. Thank you. We hope this information helps you prepare for floods by knowing your flood risk. We at Los Angeles County Public Works wish you a good day and hope you stay safe.